Now, we've been spending most of our time looking what I believe is the single best way of attacking out of Side Crucifix, which is to go into Chancery. Chancery does the best job of controlling your opponent in a way which it makes escape for your opponent very difficult, makes submissions for you from top very easy. But there is, of course, a question, what do you do if you can't get into the perfect Chancery position? Well, a really good alternative is a good shin pin. And this leads very well into Kimura attacks. They won't be quite as controlling as we saw with the case of working from Chancery, but then 90% is good and they're a little bit easier to get into. So if you are someone who maybe has shorter legs, or your opponent is very, very broad-shouldered, for example, this might be a good example of an alternative method which will work really well for you. So let's start off. I'll set you down, side control bottom. Spin this way, buddy. And from here, we have our underhook in place, and we're ready to start attacking. Everything we've done so far, we've been looking at working out of the scissor position. Now we have an opponent whose arm is in tight, and from here, we're interested in working from a shin pin. So we take our shin over our shin partner's arm and lock it up like so. Now, from this position, look how we switch from a front leg shin pin to a back leg shin pin. Even if Placido makes his arm strong and resistant and difficult for you to work with, it's very easy for us to pass our leg across, so our ankles cross briefly, so that there's never a point where his bicep is not covered by one of our shins. Don't do this kind of thing. Don't release, then he can just pull his arm free, and it's all gone. At every point in the movement, there has to be something pinning his elbow down. So we want to take our feet and cross them over like so. So that as I release my left foot, my right leg still does a good job of pinning my training partner's elbow down. When Placido tries to move his right elbow, you're literally sitting right on top of it. It's not going anywhere. Now we're going to draw our training partner up on his side. When he locks his hands defensively in this position, because you're sitting right on top of his bicep, when he tries to follow your hand movements, it's incredibly difficult for him. And once again, from here, you're going to get very strong finishes. Guys, because you are not truly wedging your opponent's elbow, you're simply sitting on top of it, I'm going to recommend to you in these cases, you always use the sit-out method, where you sit out. That way you can re-enter into your training partner's leg with your knee and then split your legs into a very strong finishing position. I'm going to recommend to you that you use the sit-out method every time from this position, because you don't have that full control of your opponent's head and shoulders as you did in the Chancery methods we looked at. So I'm going to recommend the sit-out as your finish to Kimura. So once again, we start off side control in front of our training partner. We do a good job of bringing our body up into a position where we can get a front leg shin pin. We bring our arm across, we draw him up, and then we switch our legs through, and we take a back leg shin pin. Now we stop our training partner's head so we can step over, and now we pin our training partner right here in this good position. When we lock up the Kimura, when he tries to follow us, you're literally sitting on top of his bicep. If I wasn't sitting on top of Placido's bicep, look how easily his arms can follow my movement. Very hard to get the hand behind the back. But when we pin our training partner's elbow, when he tries to follow us, it's so difficult and relatively easy for us now to put the hand behind the back, down to the floor, and then a quick sit out. From the sit out, we bring our legs apart. I still have his arm well trapped. We're in the perfect position now to attack with Kimura. This is a very useful and realistic way to use your shin pins to set up submissions.